difference, one cup at a time. Yeah, this is tea time. Yeah, making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time. Making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time.
There we go. We're back and we're here for tea time in the afternoon. That's right, afternoon tea time. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab a glass of wine. You do not need to drink tea in this house. We serve a different type of tea. We serve the Living Life Tea of TEA, Teaching Education Awareness. And I have Dr. J Ramsay in the house, and she's going to be talking podcasting, networking, all of that good stuff. And we're going to be making a difference with a new cup of tea this afternoon. So leave your questions in the comment section, directly email Miss Liz into the DMs, and I will get those questions out to Dr. Tina. Also, share this tea time. Go to the YouTube channel, click subscribe, and ring that bell, because then you'll be notified when all the tea times are live. Again, I want to thank Stream Elements for always giving a shout out to Tea Time with Miss Liz. I do appreciate you guys wholeheartedly, so thank you for that shout out. So let's do all the good stuff. Let's do the disclaimer, let's do the bio, and let's get Dr. Tina in here and let's spill some tea. So disclaimer for Miss Liz's live tea time show. Miss Liz, myself, is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any tea time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith. However, may bring forth dialogue and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All tea time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to the discussion. The content brought forward may include discussions for some where they may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to know that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection, and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in today's show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that the show is not made for you at this time, I respect those wishes and will see you at a later show at a later date and time. And again, all tea times this year are done on Thursday, 10, 3, and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If they are not on a Thursday, it's because it is a rescheduled show. So now let me give you a little bit on Dr. J Ramsay. She is a highly accomplished and influential international motivational speaker, podcast host, best-selling author, and media personality. She has empowered other content creators while sharing positive, impactful stories globally, reaching 350 million households worldwide. As a CEO of CTRmedianetwork.com, she has helped 50 plus podcasters and over 1,000 entrepreneurs build their brand awareness, credibility, visibility, and influence online. She is known for her professional work ethic, media presence, never give up mindset, infectious laughter, and heart to help others succeed. CTR Media Network is a new standard of podcasting with impactful media. They reach 350 million households worldwide in over 100 countries across all major podcasting, streaming TV, and social media platforms. They specialize in helping podcasters and entrepreneurs grow by maximizing their visibility online. And you can learn more about them on Miss Liz's Facebook page. So now let me get Dr. Tina Ramsay in here and let's spill some tea and some podcasting network, all that good stuff. So again, shoot your questions in the comment section or private DM Miss Liz, and I'll get them out to Dr. Tina. Welcome, Dr. Tina.
Hello, how are you?
It is an honor to have you here. I am so ready to pick your brain on podcasting and networking because that's what we're doing right now. We're podcasting, right? Mm-hmm. So, Dr. Tina, how did it start? I want to get the little girl first, and then I want to get the older lady today.
How did it start for me with podcasting or just in general?
Just in general, like the little girl, Dr. Tina, as a little girl, and then Dr. Tina now.
Well, before I start, I want to tell you thank you for allowing me to be able to come on your show because I appreciate it. I love Teatime. But anyway, well, first of all, the little Tina was not Doctor. I was just Tina. I was just Tina back in the day. And so I was a very precocious young girl. Very different. People describe me as having an old soul. Even though I was young, and I was very intrigued with people's stories. I was that little girl that did not like to read Dr. Seuss Green Eggs and Ham. I was the girl walking around reading autobiographies, 500 pages. And I always been a little small girl. So imagine a girl about 50, 60 pounds walking around with a book that weighs just about as much as she weighs. And I'm sitting there just so intrigued with the life, the real life, because I love TV and cinematology and everything like that, right? And so I would just literally want to know who that star, that personality that I watched on television, that voice over that was the cartoon that I love, who was the people behind them and who were they? And so I would go and find stories, their autobiographies, if some was available. And I would read about them and get to know the backstory of their why. And so coming on to now, being grown, I didn't think that had any correlation with me now. But now that I'm thinking about it, podcasting is just bringing it full circle because I get to know the why. I absolutely love sharing people's stories. I absolutely love, as a little girl, hanging around older people, learning about history and their life's journey. And I love to hear it in their own words, unedited. You know, I always like to say, we may not agree on everything. We may agree to disagree, but we will keep it respectful. That's my little saying. And so podcasting allows me to be able to do that, allows me to be able to share entrepreneurs and podcasters, help them to be able to maximize their visibility, and also allow them a platform to share their truth. Because many times social media, you know, it can show things that's not too favorable. And I allow them to be able to either clean it up, to tell their side, or just share something that other people didn't know and why they should participate in whatever it is that they're doing. So that's why I love podcasting.
I love that you said unedited because that's showing the real, raw, authentic self. Mm-hmm. You know, we need that in today's world. We need the truth, right? We need no more editing, no more hiding, no more secrets. You know, so I really like that you said unedited because that's how life is, right? We don't get to edit our stories or edit what goes on, right?
No.
So, you know, I really appreciate that. And we need more podcasting out there that is true and raw. So how did CTR start and how long has it been in business?
Okay, CTR started in 2021 in January. And so it started during the pandemic era. I was already podcasting and part of many different other networks. And so I come with executive producer and associate producer credit where I work and help produce and build podcasts and streaming TV shows behind the scenes. But many people didn't know that was me, you know, the good old NDA and all this other stuff that you can't talk about certain stuff when you work with celebrities or you do this, you know, or influencers. And so I was trying to figure out during the pandemic, being a person that is a public speaker and an author, and I have my own products and services, how would I be able to still help my audience and not leave them hanging during the pandemic because I was 100% in person? Okay, so how can I flip a business that I never thought would be? I didn't realize I was around people so much until the pandemic shut everything down, right? And so I rebirthed my podcast because I was podcasting, but I wasn't doing it consistently like I was doing it for my all, because I got like about 5 different podcasts or whatever like that. And so I was like, how can I do this? And so I was doing radio and TV at the time. And so I came back and I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to podcasting. I'm going to go back to my roots and I'm going to start podcasting. And little but known to me, it took off. More and more people start reaching out. They start finding my podcast, and then other business owners and podcasters saying, can I come on your show? I have a story. And because I was a solo show, I just came on sharing information about different thoughts that I had, things about business, homeschooling, because I'm a homeschooler, and different experiences. But then they start asking about, can they come on? I'm like, now, how am I going to make this work? Like, really?
Right? Like, how do I do this?
Like, okay. Yeah, so I pretty much went in head first, and I'm a conversationalist, so it's not hard for me to have a conversation. So I started letting them come on and just spotlighting them. It was super easy. Then I realized, hey, I like this. I get them on, they can just talk about themselves, and I'm just there to help elevate and position them. And so it pretty much took on a life of itself, and it grew and it blossomed. I've been podcasting since 2018. But it was a start, stop kind of situation. And I had multiple shows that I was doing. So while one show was in hiatus, I was doing the other show. Then I'll go back because I couldn't do all 5 at one time. That'll run me crazy. So I would go about doing all of that. And it eventually, CTR started. CTR started because I experienced being a part of several different networks. And also with podcasting, it's very difficult for small content creators, micro content creators to get their message out. And it's so many great podcast shows that are not getting noticed just because you don't have 1 million followers or so many different followers, and they discredit the small content creator just because, if you don't have at least 1,000 subscribers, then your podcast is not good. No. That doesn't mean that. It means that you're a small fish right now in a big sea of millions and millions of podcasters. The algorithm's not working in your favor. And celebrities and big influencers get first priority. So sure, the networks is going to position and spotlight them and blast their stuff out, and not a regular everyday person. And so CTR was started with that in mind, providing the information, because we provide coaching, we provide websites for the professional look, we provide support. We also, if we seek opportunities that connect with your brand, we connect you with those opportunities. We also teach you how to monetize if that is something that you want to do. We teach you about sponsorships. We teach you how to hold ownership of your creative genius and protect yourself. Because a lot of podcasters are out here podcasting and don't have no legal backing. And what you don't want to do is be doing all of this stuff and then you just lose it, or you're not able to, everyone else is benefiting from your platform and not you. And so we provide all of that stuff along with the coaching as well. And we promote every single podcaster on our network. So we promote them all over social media, they can stream directly on our network, use our reach of all the people that we have, 300,000 just on social media alone. They can use that, and it elevates and leverage them, and it helps create opportunities for them to be able to get those deals, those branding deals, because even if they don't have 1,000 subscribers, where CTR Media Network has a reach over 300K just with social media alone, and we let you stream on our platform. So you can keep 100% of the profit. We do have a membership program, but once your membership is paid, whatever you make on CTR, which is unheard of, you get to keep 100% of the profit. And that's why we call it a new standard, because we put in content creators, podcasters in the driver's seat of their financial stability, and we're all sharing the wealth. So they get to keep it. And that's usually not the norm of the standard of how to operate an independent podcasting network. The house, quote unquote, which is CTR, will usually take 30% at bare minimum of anything that's coming through the network. Okay. At least it just depends on how the deal is made. But with us, we're like, hey, you pay your membership, you make $1,000, that's your $1,000. Okay. We just interested in membership to keep the network going. You do your thing because we want you to finally get what you deserve, because you're creating, you're doing all this stuff, but then you're not getting the reciprocation that you deserve. And then when something do finally come, someone else is nickel and diming everything that you're making because you're part of a network. And I don't think that's fair. And so with me experiencing that, being a part of other networks, I said, okay, when I start my network, it's going to be totally different. And I'm going against the narrative. It's transformative. It's never been done quite this way. It has met pushback. And we do a lot for our podcasters. It's not just podcasting. We take care of the entire podcast, even your mental health. We do mental health check-ins to make sure you're okay, because every day is not a good day. Every week is not a good week. Sometimes you just don't feel like podcasting, but how do you show up when you don't feel like it? So we are just, life happens. Maybe you're sick. Maybe it's a death in the family. We take time to talk to you, cry with you if you need to cry. If you want to scream, we listen, because it's more than just podcasting. It's you as the person. And so that's what the new standards stand for, because we're just changing the way that people podcast in regards to how a network operates, where the content creators is in the driver's seat, and you have 100, let me say this again, 100% ownership of all of your content. And we do not require you to have exclusivity to CTR Media Network, which means you can be part of CTR Media Network. And if another opportunity presents itself, another network reach out to you, you can go ahead and do deals and be on their network as well as our network. We're not holding any of our podcasters away from opportunities. And with not all, but with some networks, what I have found, they want exclusivity. So you bring your show there and you can't do anything else but their network. And I'm like, well, how?
Yeah, and that's not right.
No. And so we don't do that. And so with that, like I said, doing things so, what they say is radical. Oh, they're doing it radical. No, it's not radical. It's just human decency, and it's right. It's the right thing to do. And I know both ends, from being the podcast on the other networks to now owning mine. I said, listen, we're going to do things different. We may meet pushback, but with anything that's part of changing history, you're going to meet pushback. You're going to have challenges and struggles, because it's changing the way of the flow of something that was already there, that really can mess with some people, how they make their money, which makes them upset, because now you're giving the money where it's supposed to go after the membership is paid. And then now they're used to making their money. So when they come over to you, they know all this legal stuff. They know all this information, so they can't be played anymore.
Well, that's the thing, right? And that's Dr. Tina, that's why I wanted you on for podcasting, because we need to start putting the truth out there. You know, we need to start doing different. And I'm glad that you're getting pushback, because that means that you're bringing something that's different to the table. That means that you're opening doors and opportunity for the ones that are always being told, no, you're too small. Go over there, close that down. Your podcast is just a waste of time. You know what? If you can do 12 podcasts in 1 year, congratulations. If you got one listener, congratulations. It doesn't matter the numbers, the size. We got to start looking at podcasting as a new way of life. It's the virtual way of connecting individuals across the globe and opening up to homes that would have never been opened up to had it not been for services like yours, Dr. Tina. You know, we have to get these networks really pushing. And if it's different and you think it's all wishy-washy, it's probably because it makes you uncomfortable. Well, you know what? Growth is uncomfortable. So that's what we do, is we do uncomfortable things. I get pushed back all the time. I'm the crazy lady that serves tea. Well, you know what? Miss Liz has been here 4 years. I'm still serving my tea. So you know. And Dr. Tina, like you and I have really connected through other things that we've done. We're in an anthology together. I've been on your show a couple of times, and Sean Fair and all of that good stuff. We got to meet each other and connect with each other. And what we really need to start bringing to the table is real networking. Not just a like and a love. We got to really start connecting, communicating, reaching out and saying, you have this awesome platform. Why are you not moving? Yeah. Is it because you're told you're not big enough? Don't listen to those voices. Go out and connect with Dr. Tina. Dr. Tina, I've been checking you. I do a lot of homework on my guests, and you offer a lot of things, and you offer a lot of opportunities as well. You don't even have to do the podcasting. You can do magazine ads. You can do, shout outs. There's so much that you guys do and offer that a lot of other people are not doing it because they're not making the money. So they don't want you to know that you can do these things.
Exactly.
So, Dr. Tina, I want to get into the licensing and all of that because you do need to, if you want to protect your brand, get your license, get everything legalized because people will take it from you. Yeah. So, Dr. Tina, share a little bit about on the right licensing and programs and stuff that they need to go out and get.
Well, the first thing is that first a person has to make the decision that they want to do the business of podcasting. For a person who is just doing it as a hobby, this will not be relevant to them. They will not see the need nor the investment that is going to occur because this stuff is not free. And depending upon your state or wherever you live at, because I don't give legal advice, I'm just sharing with you resources. Yep. However, if y'all need to speak to a lawyer, I know a fantastic lawyer, Dr. Liddy Louie, a New York State attorney. She's absolutely amazing, and she specializes in IP, intellectual property. And podcasting is intellectual property. How do you protect it? Because really the world that we're in now, the law that we have right now is not conducive to what we're doing now. When the law was made, it was no digital nothing. It was no radio. Well, it may have been radio in the early. Yeah, it was a radio in the early 1800s, but it wasn't no podcast. It wasn't no streaming TV. It wasn't no handheld cell phones. So the law need to catch up to what we're doing right now. And so the truth of the matter is, it's so many things that are not protected. So if you are a podcast and you want to do the business of podcasting, now over here in South Carolina, of course, you can get a regular LLC, and that stands for legal liability company, which means that it protects you if somebody try to sue you or anything like that. That's like the basic, and that's usually not too expensive. I don't know all the different states, but I know over here in South Carolina, it's like $110, and if you want to get the paper and all that, the whole thing would be around about $150 to get an LLC. You don't really necessarily need an S corp or a C corp. Well, let's just talk about S corp. Until you make like $70,000, and that's only if you want, and that's for tax purposes so that you can get more tax breaks. But we're going to talk about the LLC. If you want to do that, you can just do a LLC, and your business, your podcast, your name of your podcast can be the name of the LLC, or you can use whatever LLC that you currently have and use your podcast up under an umbrella. And like some people like to do it up on the umbrella of their current LLC. And then once it makes so much money, then they transition to a separate LLC. I'm not giving the legal advice. You need to get your legal advisor so they can, and your accountant, and let them break down what is the best thing to do if you already have your own business versus. But there are licensing that you need to have when you're doing a business podcast. You do have to pay taxes on everything. So if you are charging for guest slides, commercial slides, all this different stuff, that is earnable income. Okay, which means that it's taxable. So if you're out here doing that, and then you're not paying your taxes, and they catch you, then you're gonna owe some taxes.
You're gonna be podcasting from another place.
Yeah, podcasting from a place you don't want to be, and so you have to pay taxes. I say your podcasting is a real situation when Spotify send you your tax form every year. I remember when I received my first tax form from Spotify. because they have an ambassador program, and I've been making money on, well, they call it Spotify for podcasters now, but it was Anchor back in the day.
Yep.
And when I received my first check, I thought it was fake. I was like, clearly, I know they're not paying me to do just, talking this microphone. And then at the end of the year, I get this like, you're gonna have to file these taxes. And I was like,
right.
like, oh, so Uncle Sam say, Hunty, I see you making some money on this here podcast, and we're gonna get our piece. You keep your piece, but we're gonna get our piece. Yep. So I have to pay taxes on everything that I earn because it's a real job. It's a real career, right? And so you have to understand that when you're doing the business of podcasting. So you're going to need you an accountant, or if you can do it yourself, can get, what they call it? The books. QuickBooks.
Yeah, I know in Canada we have it's called studio tax.
Yeah, you can get QuickBooks.
You can do all your own paperwork and stuff like that if you know how to do it, right?
Yeah, if you know how to do it, you can go ahead and do that. But and then you can have your own regular. If you're not making that much money, you can have your own regular tax preparer that can be able to a good one. That my tax preparer also has a business, and he know how to do all that different stuff. And so you need to understand that. Number two, if you are a podcaster, let me say this again. If you are a podcaster and you out here podcasting and you are not having your guest sign a guest release, let me tell you what that does. It puts you in a very, very difficult situation. Because I want you to think about the future. Because right now we're working and we see this story and we want to just elevate them and yeah. But you got to also remember put on your business hat. Say, for example, that person come on your show and that video go viral, which means mostly if you're already set up for monetization on YouTube and all this other stuff like that, you get some money. Money come in from YouTube, money come in from other areas. You go viral, other businesses start looking at you and start offering you branding deals and all the stuff like that. That video go viral and they're on it and you didn't have them sign a guest release. They can either send you a cease and desist, which is a legal document that you have to pull the thing down, and they can sue you and say, wait, I heard that you just signed $1 million deal and I want my cut. And guess what? If you don't have the proper guest release, they can have a legal right to take you to court. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win, but more than likely they could, because they can claim that your hard work, and they're on your show maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and they're trying to claim all the stuff you did just because that one video went viral. And that's not fair, but you have people that just shifty like that. Yep. And so you need to understand that you have this platform, you need to have it legally sound. And then, of course, is copywriting your podcast, trademarking, if that's what you want to do. I'm not going into that. Like I said, I have a lawyer, and also in my book, I talk about that too. But I also direct you to a real lawyer because I just give educational resources. And so all of that. So I say, for example, someone take down your podcast and they break it down in clips and all of that because they see something that they like and they break it down and they reshare it, but you don't want nobody to really reshare it, but you got it on a public platform and you don't have it protected. Well, you can't say anything because they can do it because it's on the public platform. But if you have all your things in place, your lawyer, intellectual property lawyer, be able to say, hey, if they making money off of something that you did and they're not paying you, you have yourself protected. You can send them a cease and desist. You can ask for XYZ and be like, you owe me this. How much money did you make off of this? And this is how much you have to pay me for this. And it can get a little bit deeper, a whole lot deeper than that. But of course, you need to talk to Dr. Liddy Lewis because that's the mastermind that has everything locked down with CTR and everything like that. When I first started, I did not know this. I didn't know what I didn't know. And so it took somebody pulling me to the side and saying, hey, you need to have legal. So all of our podcasters, we make sure that they have a legal guest release for number one, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. Number two, we make sure they have access to legal counsel. Number two. And number three, we make sure that we stay as much alert to what's going on in the podcast arena, because things are changing every single day. It's constantly evolving. So we're kind of your eyes and ears of what's going on. And if you run into a situation that is unfavorable, when these contracts come, we'll be like, listen, do not go in a room with no brand, no nothing, without having legal counsel, someone that can speak on your behalf, because you're not going to understand that legal jargon. Who understand the perpetuity of this contract, and they can use your perpetuity and likeness and brand for the throughout the universe? Do you really understand what that means? Well, let me tell you what that means. That means that if you sign that contract, they got exclusive rights to all of your content, and they can use it in any part of the world as long as they want to use it with your face likeness and brand, and you can't do anything because you signed your name. Okay. And so
that's something that's really important, Dr. Tina, because a lot of people don't know this, right?
No.
They just, I'm just going to start a podcast. If you're just doing a podcast for a hobby, that's okay. But if you're monetizing and you're getting paid to do podcasting, you better have all of your legal documents and your things in order,
yes.
Because you could have a guest on in season 1, and then in season 3, they're like, oh, well, you know what? I want to get paid now. Well, because you don't have those proper papers, they can do that. They can come back at you,
Yeah.
And it's like you said, Dr. Tina, you didn't know until somebody pulled you aside,
Yeah.
And we need that. We need people saying, you know what? Okay, you're just starting off. You don't know the protocols. You don't know this. Let me show you. Let me teach you.
Yeah.
And that's why we're having this podcast today, is so that we can give you the right information so that you can get the right information. If you want to do podcasting for a business. If you're just doing it for a hobby, that's different. But if you're doing it for a business, you're getting monetized, you're getting paid, get your paperwork in order. Make sure you're legally registered as a business as well. Because without that, and like Dr. Tina says, until you make 75,000, then you get the next one. Then but just legally get your business registered. It's less than $200 to register your business. And I know here in Canada, I just paid for my next 5 years. It was $250 for 5 years. Invest in yourself, invest in your business if this is what you want to do for a living. And that's why I have Dr. Tina here, is because we need to start investing in ourselves, in our growth, and stop letting the big guys tell us that we can't do anything because we're the little guy. You know what? Miss Liz has been told to close my podcast. I don't know how many times. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. I want people to know that you can make a difference if you really want to, and you can change your life if you want to. We can all do it. And Dr. Tina has changed your life. Like, now you mentioned this book. I want to get into the book because this is a #1 best-selling book. Like, I want to talk about this book because there's not a lot of podcasting books out there. And your book gives a lot of information on podcasting, Dr. Tina. So I want you to share a little bit on that book.
Okay. Well, this is the book. It's called The Power of Podcasting, Unlocking Tips and Strategies for Podcasting Success. And so again, one thing that I do, because I am a podcast coach. And so what happened was a lot of people see what I'm doing and they start reaching out and wanting me to coach them. I do coach. However, it's very limited because I focus on my podcasters and my homeschoolers. And so I was like, how can I still, because I have a heart to help, how can I help them and make it cost effective for ones that's just starting out that may not have a lot of money? Because to set me down, it's going to cost you a little bit of coin, because I am actually working on with you one-on-one, breaking it down. You can talk to me. We're going to do all this. I'm going to bring in the right people for what you need. It's customized. And you can't, like, I have to bring in people, and I'm helping you day in and day out. This book is basically many people read it and they were like, man, it's like having a podcast coach. It's like having you in the book. I said, that's exactly how I created it. It's like having me in the room with you. You ain't have to pay $1,000 or a couple thousand in order to get me to sit down with you for a month or two. You gonna be able to learn about. It is a workbook. It has my 30 video course that is $1,000. I put it in there for absolutely free because I always do my give back. Okay. I always have my pay it forward. Every year I let different people write in, let me know why they should be on the show. And I give them a free space to be able to be interviewed on my show. Now, the other part of my shows, the other part after my designated number of freebies is over with, yes, I do charge a fee because my show is the top 2% of global podcasts in the world out of 3 million plus podcasters. We put a lot of time, production, and effort in all of this stuff, travel and all this stuff. So we have to pay for it. This is not free. So, but I always make sure that I do pay it forward every single year. I always do that. This was my massive pay it forward. Literally, I'm teaching you. My lawyer, when she saw this, she was like, you need to pull this book. It has too much information. You're not just telling them the what, when. She was like, you're not just telling them the what, when, and where. You're telling them the how. You're like, she was like, you're telling them the how. And I was like, I know. She said, but nobody's doing it. I said, I know. She said, but you only charging like $30. That book, I'm like, I know. I said, because God moved my heart to be able to help ones that want to help themselves. Many of you hoping, wishing, and praying for a breakthrough, but I like to say your money looking a little funny and you just can't help it. It is what it is. This is your answer. And so I put it on Amazon. Why? Because it's a worldwide platform. Number 2, let me just go through some of the chapters. Like, for example, it's telling you what you should do before you start a podcast. Because many people start a podcast and don't have an earthly idea what they need to do beforehand. They also they just go out there and make a little fly on Canva and say, I got a podcast. I'm like, okay, let me see how that's going to work. And you okay. You didn't do any like research. You didn't do no, like, it is the reason why my show is purple and gold and white with a splash of red. The reason why Liz's show is the color of her show is a reason. The colors mean something. I'm talking about branding, your hex code. If you don't know what that is the number, the exact color of what your show is. Okay. Many of you doing all these flyers out here got different colors, confusing the people. Do you see McDonald's having blue and yellow? No.
I know, and there was an ad that they did the opposite colors or something, and everybody was like, "What is this?"
Like, wait, we know McDonald's, whether we know the food ain't good for you, but I ain't gonna lie, I do eat their fries. Guilty pleasure.
I love the fries too.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to have the fries because I'm diabetic, but
I do like be eating them fries sometimes. I know it's not good for the but I digress. But listen, it's the same red, it's the same yellow, it's the same white. Why? Because you need to have brand awareness and brand recognition, and people need to be able to identify in order to trust you to build your credibility and your influence. If you're out here saying your show is purple, gold, and white, and you're using every shade of purple under the sun, then you turn around and throw a blue in there, you're confusing your people.
Right. So, you want your branding colors to stand out so that when people see these colors, they're like, oh, that's Miss Liz. Oh, that's Dr. Tina.
Exactly.
You know, if you're all over the place, you're not gonna know. They're not gonna know. Is that Dr. Ramsay? Is that
I think somebody hacked your account.
Right?
So we're talking about all of that. We're talking about the tools that you can use. I'm giving you my equipment list because many people won't tell you what they use. I'm telling you the computer I use, keyboard, the mics, the lights, everything I'm using. I have some things that are, of course, I always make sure I have things that are budget friendly, but then some things, just cost a little bit more. I'm right now testing out this new mic. Shout out Amazon influencer. I'll let you know how I feel about it in about a week or so. But anyway, then I'm telling them, breaking down how to write a bio. Lord have mercy.
I want to get into that. Because you know what? When we're doing podcasts, we don't have time to read a 3-page bio. Make it short, make it sweet, but put the good details into it.
But some people don't even know how to write a bio.
Yeah.
And so they send you in a word, a sentence, broken sentences, fragment sentences, and then you got to make something out of nothing. Listen, a bio is very, very important in order to build your brand awareness. because it's your introduction before you come on a show. It's your introduction that you have when you're posting on social media. It's an introduction to people getting to know you. So if you're just putting out all this little random stuff, people are not going to take you serious. So I'm actually mapping it out, showing you how to write a proper bio. I'm actually, because that's one of the big problems when you have guests. And sometimes I have to even pull them to the side and say, tell me some things that you do so I can create one for you, because we can't put this out like this, because this is not good. And so I teach you how to do that, how to write a script, what is show notes, how to book a podcast interview, how to organize your podcast with seasons and episodes, engagement, pre-chat lists, the power of podcast, and why going deeper, which talking about the money and how you do and how you position on social media, all that different stuff. And then we start getting down to the business of podcasting, how to protect your podcast, and start talking about trademark, copyrights, and all that stuff like that. And then I have resources in the back of the book with discounts and all of that, because I'm always about a good a discount for people. And it just basically go through, and it's designed for you to write in it. Okay, this is designed for you not just to read, it's designed for you to write and then engage all of your learning. So if you do well with reading, then you can read. But also I have videos you can scan and you can listen, you can watch, we have videos, we have audio, we have written, we touching every single learning style, because everybody learns different. And we made the font big enough that it's not micro small, that you can carry it, and it's really easy on the eye. And it literally mapping out your branding, mapping out your website, mapping out potential guests, influencers, how to reach out to influencers, sponsorships. Literally, I just dumped everything in this book. You have no excuse. Like when people be like, Tina, can you do it? I'm like, listen, did you buy the book? It's $30. Like, really?
Right. Go grab the book.
It's $30. I said, you want me to sit down with you? It's gonna be a couple thousand. Do you want a couple thousand? Or do you want $30? You're going to get the same information, except it's going to be more customized because I'm speaking to you one-on-one. But I'm just like, okay, what coach is going to cut themselves out of money? Because I really want to help you at the end of the day. My lawyer was like, she looked at my book. She started taking out a lot. So I was like, no. Oh, you're giving away too much. Oh, no. I was like, listen, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, because at the end of the day, I'm not worried about you being successful at podcasting, because I'm doing my thing, you doing your thing. It doesn't matter. I don't worry about somebody else's podcast, because I know I'm here to do what I'm doing, and Liz is here to do what she's doing. And we here to elevate and position and spotlight each other. I'm happy to collab and work with other podcasters that's really true about their gift, and Liz don't play about her gift. Now, some of y'all be out here be kind of
a lot of people think Miss Liz is playing small, but you guys don't see a lot of what Miss does in behind the scenes, because there's more than just the podcasting. Yeah. There's the speaking, there's the books, there's the clothing line. There's so much coming, because there's a message, there's a niche, and that niche is what is your tea. Teaching education awareness. It's not a beverage tea. I don't serve beverages. If you want to drink tea, you're more than welcome to drink tea. If you want to drink coffee, you drink coffee. If you want to have a glass of wine, you have a glass of wine. You do what is best for you. So I want to get into that, since we're talking about the TEA. Dr. Tina, what is your TEA today?
Well, transparency, resilience, and I'm a fighter. I fight for you. I'm an advocate. Okay. And so I come from a background of education. That's how I started. I was the person that come into the schoolhouses to help children work through their behavior issues. They called me a behavior technician with a whole lot of letters behind my name. We ain't even gonna go into all them letters, because I really think some letters are just a little redundant. Just say the name and what you do and go and do the work. But that's how it is in this society. But so basically, I would go into the schoolhouse and help. I also was a tutor for a college, helping K through 12 and underprivileged children, and also had my private tutoring that I was doing as well. And so my specialties and certifications is in special education, so helping parents and children with children with learning differences and special needs. Even though I work with children that's gifted and talented, my heart is for the voiceless. Okay. I have a son that has autism and developmental delays, and I know how too often children are misaligned, children are not heard, people are not fighting for them. And I know what I went through with trying to get services and help for my son. And again, parents just don't know what they just don't know. And I started with education. My podcast started that way, speaking about homeschooling first, and then later on in health and wellness about mental health and all of that. And later it evolved to entrepreneurship, because I wasn't always an entrepreneur. I was just a stay-at-home mom that chose to stay home because the daycare was just too expensive. My husband saying, you just be working to pay the daycare. You might as well just stay home. One of us, who want to stay home? I'm like, I don't want to stay home. No, I don't want to stay home. So I said, fine, I'll stay home. And so I was there, taking care of our children. And then I started later on homeschooling. My children took them out of school around about, my son was in second grade, my daughter was in fourth. And now my daughter just graduated last year. My son graduated next year. So full circle. And so it started from education. I'm still educating. I was a teacher. And I help over 13,000 homeschoolers worldwide to this day. And so taught in schools, doing the lesson plans from overseas, lesson plans for schools, for the teachers, for the school year, doing it in the United States and over here. Even before people was doing virtual, I was doing virtual because they would hire me in to do the lesson plans. Who would have thought that a school couldn't even do their own lesson plan, public school, right? And they hire a homeschooler to do it for them, right? And so that's what I was doing for the very first part of my content creation career. I did not know it as a career then because I was just doing it because I wanted to help people. And then later on, it birthed into opportunities and a business, a podcast, a TV. It birthed into a whole lot of different things over time. And then, of course, I ended up starting my own show, and we still have the homeschooling the homeschooling podcast, and then it birthed into a magazine itself. And so what I'm just saying, you guys, you need to just start in the beginning, but you don't need to just start without having some knowledge. It's people out here like myself and Liz who have been podcasting for not just a hot minute, years. We have seen the ups and downs. We have met the pushback. People, my show is literally global. People reach out to me all over in their native tongue, which I think is pretty cool, but most of the time I don't understand it. So I have to use good old.
I've done a few of those too, and I'm just like,
I use Google Translate, and then I write a message back to them, and I translate it into their other language, and I send it to them, and they think I'm bilingual, and I'm like, yo, I just use Google Translate, baby. So
Translate helps a lot. It saves a lot.
Yeah. So it's just full circle. But the goal of this episode is to share some things with you that you may have not known. If you're a current podcaster, to let you know that it's something different available on the table with CTR Media Network, because we literally are putting you in the driver's seat of your own content. You have ownership and you can monetize. We're teaching you how to do it. We create opportunities. It's not just podcasting. It's the entire person. And we have media opportunities, magazines, books, speaking on stages, going on other people's shows, going on tours, going to events, hosting. Like, we do a lot of different things that's all centered around the podcasting foundation, but it's different little tiers of maximizing your visibility properly. One podcast interview is not going to make you be an overnight sensation. Like, stop it. Like, okay, right. It's these coaches out here, because I'm a visibility coach, certified, and they out here giving people these hopes and dreams. And I said, I'm not in the business of selling hopes and dreams. I sell facts and reality. Okay. The realization of the matter, if you want to be a lasting credibility and influence, it is done over a consistent period of time, not one investment. It's multiple investments, multiple education, multiple doing the same thing over and over and over. Look at us doing it for years. before you even reach the surface of your full potential. And many people out here saying, yeah, you get my program, I coach you, do this right here, and you're going to be there in 90 days.
Yeah, you're going to be a success. You're going to be a superstar. Let's stop selling fake dreams, first of all. You know, any business, home business or a business outside of the home takes at least 5 to 7 years.
It's now 10.
Now, exactly, because of all the conditions and all of the new rules and regular. So stop selling us a dream that we're going to be some international superstar with one show. You know, you got to go onto different podcasts. You got to network with each other. You got to collaborate with each other. You know, support. If you see a podcast out there and you like their show, don't be ashamed to share it. It's not hurting your show. It's actually showing that you're supporting other podcasters out there. We need to really start sharing, supporting one another. You know, when you see something and you're like, oh, I love that guest that they had on, share it. Get it out there. Or thank the host and say, thank you for putting that guest out there. Thank you for putting that information out there. You know, I'm getting a lot of thank yous that are coming in for the information that's being shared right now, Tina. So we're putting out information that needs to be out there. Yeah. Like your lawyer said, take that out. No, we're not taking stuff out. We're not hiding stuff. We're real, we're raw, we're unedited, and we're giving you what it is to be authentic. And if you really want to be somebody and want to make a difference, you have to be ready to go against the odds. You have to be able to stand, even if you're standing by yourself, you just move it and you do it, you know? And that's what I have learned from podcasting. Podcasting has given me my voice to say, you know what? If you don't like it, there's 2.3 million podcasts out there. Go watch another one. You know, this is what I don't go for 100,000 views. I go for one viewer and one audience member that will say, thank you, Miss Liz, for giving me that information. Now I can go and get the right information. I don't give you hogwash. I give you the truth. My guests come to the table and they're real. They're authentic and they've been working it. They work it. They don't just, I'm doing no, Dr. has been doing this. She's gone what are you on? Season 8, I think?
Season 8. And we taped our 200 episode in May live. We made the Tina Ramsay show from virtual to live. And now we're traveling. Okay. And so we're doing the thing. Okay. And I'm going to give you guys some more tips before we go. So finish your thought because I know we probably about to run out of time. So, but I want to.
We got a couple more minutes. We still got some minutes here to put some more information out there. Let's do this, Dr. Tina.
Okay. All right, you guys. And so I'm only doing all of this because I absolutely love Miss Liz. Okay. Because anybody else, I wouldn't be dropping all of this in one episode. You'll get bits and pieces on each interview that I go on. But I absolutely love what she do. And she is authentic. And I have saw her at her lowest and saw her rise like a phoenix. Okay. And see her, what she's doing, and when she opened her books and when she have her merch. I mean, that takes time. It
took a year for the merch. And I only have a few products right now, but it took 1 year.
Okay.
It takes time. It's not overnight.
It takes time. And so I'm wanting, and one thing I am true. I am authentic. I am raw. I am very transparent with the ups and downs. And I'm one of those coaches that you can't put in a box. And I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm one of those coaches that will hold your hand the whole time. But when you need a little swift kick, I'm going to give you the kick and say, listen, you need to suck it up and we got to do this, you know. And so I know my coaching don't appeal to everyone, but my coaching is real. I am not in the business of selling hopes and dreams. I am realistic. I had a client that wanted to pay me thousands and thousands of dollars to join the network and to work for them, brand ambassador and all this different other stuff like that. And I turned down a lot of money. And I said, okay, when do you want this done? August? And what month we're in right now? June? Do you really think that's realistic? That you think that you're going to be, I said, listen, it's a lot of things that we can do. And it's very few people that's going to go viral. Okay. It's very few people that's going to go viral. And it takes a lot of different things in order to push something to have the potential, quote unquote, to go viral. And even with your best effort, it doesn't mean that it's going to go viral. it's consistent work over a period of time, and sometimes years before you really reach, because people need to see that you're real. People need to see that you're consistent and that they can trust you. Reason why people buy into what I offer is because I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. They've been watching me for years, and they saw me go from zero to growing, and they saw the hard times when I had to restructure, rebrand, start all over again. And I'm so sick of people selling these hopes and dreams, taking all of this money from people, and they left with mortgaging. The hardest thing is when clients come to me and I can really help them over a period of time, but they don't have the money to be able to invest, because it takes money. I have to pay people to do certain things, and I just can't do it for free. And they already mortgaged their homes, $80,000, and about to lose their home. I met a client that wanted to be a potential client, but they just didn't have any income because they mortgaged their house out for $80,000 and it was going to foreclosure because they paid this coach all of this money and they didn't even have no ROI, which is return on investment, period. $80,000, $100,000, $50,000. We better return on something, and not no hope and not no dream. I'm talking about tangible money, opportunities, something that's going to change my life. And I'm hearing that a lot from people. And I turn down a lot of clients that just have unrealistic expectations. I'm not dealing with that, because if they don't meet that certain expectation, then they're going to say that your coaching is not working. No, it's just that it's unrealistic. And
right? Let's be realistic.
Yeah, and some people come to you with no social following. They just started social media last month, and they're like, "I want to be thousands of thousands." I'm like, what visibility coach told you that? Well, you need to go to them, because a lot of people, like I said, sell hopes and dreams. But let's get to this branding. I'm gonna give you guys a point that I feel that it needs to be said, and it irks me to my core when I see podcasters or even businesses that do this. You have to keep your brand universal in the sense that they can easily find you. So many brands and businesses and podcasters have all these different names. The only different name you should have, if it's your real name, like Elizabeth and Dr. Tina, right? Yep. And then we have our podcast name, The Tina Ramsay Show and Miss Liz T. All right. These people be having, just give an example. This is not true, because Liz got her stuff together, but I'm just going to use her for example. Say, for example, she got Miss Liz Talk, Miss Lee Coffee, Miss Lee this, that, all this different stuff. People cannot find you. Yep. You cannot get your CTR, which stands for click-through rate. Your click-through rate is going to be, you ain't even going to get one view, because people can't connect with you. You're going to confuse your audience. You're mad and frustrated because people want opt in. They don't resonate. It's because you're confusing them. Think about it. Everything that we opt in, everything that we buy, is because it's not confusing to us. Once something you get a little bit of doubt in your head about a brand, or you get a question in your mind about a brand, you're not 9 times out of 10, you're not going to opt into whatever they're offering, because you don't truly understand what it is that they're doing. So make sure your colors are the same. Make sure you understand the hex code and use the same exact color on all of your social media. Make sure that your branding is together. Make sure, I want you to understand, I'm going to say this about branding. This is the season for podcasters, okay? We're trending. Whether you're big or small, everyone's talking about podcasting. That's the power of podcasting. Podcasting is not just learning information. It's a marketing engine that never sleeps, okay? And why is it? I need you to watch the influencers, watch the celebrities. Why would Sherry Shepherd, who has a whole full-fledged television show, have a podcast? Why would singers start doing podcasts? Why would Oprah Winfrey, she's a billionaire for heaven's sakes. Yep. Why would she have a podcast? Why? Because they understand the power of podcasts. Why would the Prince of England and his wife start a podcast? Why would Michelle Obama have a podcast? Let me tell you something. Watch. Success leaves clues. Number one, success leaves clues. Podcasting is never going anywhere. It's only going to get better. It's just a updated version of radio. And now, since we're accepting video as a podcast now, it's going to be the new TV. Okay. And so I need you to understand the time that we're in. We're transitioning to a new era of digital content where finally everyday people like you and I are in the driver's seat if we take advantage of it. The window is closing where you will be able to opt in and start a podcast, be able to take advantages of branding deals. Brands are now starting to put priority on small content creators for deals. So now Nike, Adidas, all of these places, Krispy Kreme, everything that you think about, all the things that you buy, these companies are now putting priority on small content creators. Why? It's because they have done the research and found out even though you may have 100 listeners, 1 listener, 1,000 listeners, or how many, they realize that our content, our audiences are more engaged than some of the people who have millions of followers. We have built a true community. And they want that audience because our audience is the people who buy the products. Our audiences are the consumer. Okay, they're the consumer out here buying all the products. And so right now, branding deals are getting done like this. I had on an outfit. That was a branding deal. I had to go do my show. Wear outfit from a stylist, from a boutique. Dress me from head to toe. That was a branding deal. Listen, all of this stuff, I need you guys to listen. I got it in my book about sponsorships. I got it in my book. I need you. Stop playing. Literally, I am a full-time podcaster. When we lost everything, well, I'm going to say we learned lessons because when the pandemic closed down, everything, my husband lost his job. He had 2 jobs. I live a very cushy life. I didn't have to work. If I didn't want to work, I could do whatever I wanted to do. He did everything, and he did that for the bulk of our marriage. And then the pandemic happened and shift the whole narrative. Now my breadwinner could not provide because his job was working with people. We didn't realize how much we work with people. And he's a photographer and a videographer. And he works with other individuals as well, helping ones that may have, found the bad side of alcohol and drugism, because we are passion-driven, community-driven people. We want to help the voiceless. But we lost the job. They closed down all the jobs, okay? And so podcasting, with God's help, saved our life, okay? We have a child that needed a surgery. Now, my special needs child that I spoke about before that has autism, he also had a condition, still has it, a condition called pectus extravatum. And for those of you who do not know what that is, that's when your chest caves in. Oh. So imagine, but he had the most severe case in South Carolina. No one have ever seen a case as bad as my son, okay? And that surgery is like over $100,000 surgery. So imagine your insurance is going through your husband's job. You no longer have that. How is you going to give your child this life-saving thing? My son walks around right now to this day with a bar in his chest to hold out his chest so they won't crush his organs. Like he is the real bionic man. He is the real bionic boy, for real, for real. And so podcasting changed my life. It really helped us pay our mortgage, do the things that we need to do, because that was the only income. That's why I'm telling everybody about the power of podcast. And literally that's all we had. Okay. And my podcast is monetized. So I'm telling you, not from something I read or something someone told me. I'm telling you from experience. We went from 0 to now being able to pay for our essential things and even some other things through the power of podcasting. So I don't want y'all to, many of you don't have a job. Many of you looking for transitioning because a lot of your jobs with AI, you're not going to have a job anymore. Let's just keep it real. AI is a beautiful thing. It's a 2-edged sword. I like it on one hand, but then I don't like it on the other hand, because I know the realistic thing of it. When you go in the grocery store and you used to see 10 to 13 cashiering, and now you go in and you see 2 cashiers and you see self-checkout, automation taking over. You're starting to see robots walking around asking, can I help you? those was people jobs.
Yep.
Those are so even though AI is doing some things to help us to do things faster and easier, but it's replacing the jobs of individuals that needed that income, that would need to take care of their families. Podcasting is something that you can do from the comfort of your home. You can start with as simple as, you don't have to have all this grandiose equipment. When I first started, I started with my cell phone. Okay, I'm keeping it 100. I was in with my cell phone. I was sitting in my lazy boy in the corner, trying to make some little ambiance, little candle, trying to make like I'm in, like, yeah, I'm in my studio. No, I'm in the corner of my bedroom in my lazy boy talking on my cell phone.
Right?
Okay.
I'm in my tea room. There's no green screen here. What you see is what it is, what it is.
It's,
you know,
that's what I'm saying. And so people thinking that it has to be all grandiose. You got to start from what you see everybody else doing. No, start from where you can begin and then grow to that. Okay. And it took me years. I'm in season 8 to get all this lights and all this other stuff, honey. It was just a cell phone, a hope, wish, and prayer, and went live with the cell phone, speaking inside the mic. So you can start like that and build and grow and scale up. These companies are looking for you. They're looking for you. Point blank. They reach out to me all the time. It's just the point of me saying yes, no, maybe, yes, no, maybe, and to do it align with my brand. Because some things I just won't touch because I'm like, it don't align with what I stand for. And I'm not going to go on here and telling somebody it's a great product and I don't even know if it's a great product. Because one thing I will not do, I will not lie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie for you. Okay. And so you have to decide what you're going to do and what you're not going to do and what your ethics and morals are. But my moral compass is like, I'm telling the truth. If the reason why people connect with me is because I am real, I am authentic. How, if I'm telling you I like something, I really do like it in that moment. It's fact. Yeah. Okay, it could change later on because they maybe change your agreement or something. Like, Lord, it was good when I started, but I don't like it now. But this is our season. So don't be afraid to start a podcast. Don't be afraid to start a live series show. Don't be afraid to start that business. If you want to go to school, become an author, become a speaker, don't be afraid and connect with people who already know what you need to know so that you can expedite your process, so you can avoid their pitfalls, their bumps and bruises, and you can get closer to your whatever level of success that you classify as success, because everybody's thing of success is different. Because it's your moment. Don't let people fool you. This is your moment. And it's the window is closing. So branding deals is on the table. Brand awareness, opportunities. Yeah, the economy is looking bad on certain things, but it's a lot of things that's up. And they trying to distract you to think that it's no opportunities out here. There are plenty, and a lot of them are attached to podcasting. Most of them are attached to podcasting. So get into podcasting. That's all I have to say.
Well, a lot has changed too, because when I started in the first year, everybody was doing the voice, the audio. And I was like, no, I'm doing video. And year 3, everybody's like, oh, we're going to add video to our podcasting. I'm like, I'm already doing it. Like, I'm already ahead of you. Like, you know, you really got to stay you got to stay educated. You got to do your research, and don't be afraid to go on different platforms. You know, get yourself seen. Even if you get one view on a different platform, that's one view you didn't have on the platform that you're already on. Let's really start just spreading it. You know, Dr. Tina is on multiple platforms. Same as I am on multiple platforms, because we do the work, we do the research, we work it, we market it 24/7. We don't sleep, guys. I'm not joking. We work. There's so much. You guys see the awards, you see the platforms, you see all of this good stuff coming, but you don't see the hard work that is being put into it. This is not just turn on a camera and go for 1 hour. This is work. There is work in behind. There is questioning. There's communication with your guests. Make sure that your guests know what you're doing, what you expect from them, you know, and if they reach out, don't get offended. And if they notice there's a mistake in anything that you're marketing, fix it, own it. You know, take accountability. I don't know how many times, because I do a spelling mistake, or the name goes backwards, or autocorrect decides to put a different word in than I want to put in. And they'll reach out and I'll be like, no, let me go fix it. Give me a few minutes. I will get it done. Fix it. Because your guests are what makes your platform. Take care of your guests. Your audience can listen at any time. They can listen to the replay. Your guess is number one. Everyone's got it ass backwards. I know I'm going to have to put explicit content because I just said the word ass backwards. But you know what? I'm going to do it because we need to start putting people before profit. The profit will come after. The dream will come after, but you got to work it. You got to really do the work. I'm so tired, like Dr. Tina. We're so tired of people selling us fake dreams. You know, I'm going to give me $1,000. I'm going to make you $1 million. I'm going to give you $1 million. No, that's not how it works. I'm going to give you 1,000 and you're going to give me nothing. You're not going to support me. You're not going to share my content. You're not going to encourage anybody to come to my show. That's not support. Let's do it the right way. We support each other one-on-one. Dr. Tina does stuff. I share her stuff. Dr. Tina shares my stuff. We're in a book together. Like, we're together. We support each other. So I really want the listeners out there to understand podcasting. Like Dr. Tina says, it is a new trend. It is a new thing. And you small podcasters, wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up, because there is branding out there. There are people watching you. You might think that no one's watching. You might not see those numbers rolling when your show is live or when you're not getting those downloads, but they might not be downloading, but they're still watching. They're going to reach out to you within a few weeks and a few months. And like Dr. Tina says, don't brand your business with something that you're not standing for. Stay true to your alignment. Stay true to who you are. I've turned down big deals because they wanted to change it into something that it is not. And I'm not afraid to say that because I want my brand to stay authentic. I want it to be real. It's teaching, education, awareness that we all can make a difference when we work it. We have to work it. And that's what we do is we work our T's. So Dr. Tina, I want to really thank you for joining me today on Tea Time. I really want to thank you for all the information. A lot of people are saying, thank you for the information. We need to get this information out there. We need to start having some really raw, authentic, open discussions over tea, over Dr. Tina Ramsay show. Check her out. Check out the website. If anybody would like to reach out to you, Dr. Tina, how can they reach out to you?
They can reach out by going to CTR Media Network. And I just don't want them to come see my show. I want you guys to make sure you continuously support Miss Liz. Like we were discussing, like, follow, share, leave a little comment. You don't have to write something. You can just put an emoji. Something.
Put a happy face, put a heart, put a thumbs up.
Something, because you just don't understand how much that means to us, because this is not for the faint of heart. This is not easy, okay? And we have our own life and different things that is outside of podcasting. So doing that, they can go to ctrmedianetwork.com if you're a current podcaster, you want to come on the platform, or you want to start your podcast. If you cannot afford my coaching, that is fine. $30, okay? And it's on all platforms dealing with Amazon. You can buy it on Canada, Amazon, all the different Amazons. You can buy it all over Australia, all over, okay? I did that because I want you to drop the excuses. Number two, just don't listen to the Tina Ramsay show. I want you to listen to every other podcaster that's on the platform. Okay, because all of them have something unique of what they bring. Even if they're speaking about some of the same topics, every podcaster has a different way of bringing out different information. All of them have, most of them have guests, different type of guests where you can learn different things and resources. And just sometimes you just need motivation. And then we have mental health podcasts as well. So just make sure that you tune into the Tina Ramsay show as well as every other podcast, and make sure to stay in the know with Miss Liz show, and follow, support, because this is not easy, but we do it because we are called to do this. And at the end of the day, we have to be passionate about it, because we wouldn't even keep doing it, even though it's hard, but we keep doing it because we're passionate. So
if there's no passion, don't do it.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Miss Liz, for actually having me on your show. It's been a pleasure. Now Dr. Tina is in Canada.
That's right, because Dr. Tina is in the United States. That's right. Miss Liz goes all over the world, and today's shows are all in the United States. And today is the last day of June. We've already done half a year. And I'm at 78 already for half a year. So I'm taking a break in the month of July for 1 week. I think I deserve 1 week break.
You deserve a month. I'm taking
As
a
of
vacation
tonight
next
at
month.
7 p.m. with Ann Charles, who comes in, and we're going to be speaking about suspense, mystery, and comedy and adventure. She has this book series you really want to check out, Ann Charles. So she'll be coming on at 7 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time with Miss Liz, and she'll be wrapping up the month of June. And then we have only 9 next month. I'm sorry, guys, but I need a break. So we're, instead of 12 or 15 shows, you're getting 9 from Miss Liz, and Miss Liz is taking 1 week off. And if you'd like to know more about Miss Liz, check out my website at www.misslizsteatime.com. Check out the merchandise, check out the books, just spread it. And if there's a tea time that resonates with you, there's over 250 tea times, just share them. There's so many topics, so many different countries, so many different stories out there. And Dr. Tina, I want to really thank you for joining me today and giving all these nuggets, because this is what we do, is we bring nuggets of tea, and we just really teach educational awareness out there in a different way. So thank you again for joining me today. And I will see everybody at 7 p.m. because I got to wrap up and go for another run. And then I'm done for the day.
Okay.